श्रीवत्सवंशकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोर्रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामम् श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. In the previous lecture, we saw about the contributions of Yamunacharya that we had already been discussing about. And then we started talking a little bit about Bhagavad Ramanuja. We discussed about the three wishes of Yamunacharya. It was discussed, in fact, in one of the preceding lectures, but we mentioned it back as the meeting point of Bhagavad Ramanuja with Yamunacharya's body, which was there. So Yamunacharya himself had departed for Vaikuntha by the time Bhagavad Ramanuja got to reach Sri Rangam along with Mahapurna Swami, that is Periyanambi. So now we are going to look at Srimad Jagadguru Ramanujacharya. This title that we are giving here, Srimad Jagadguru, you might see this used for acharyas of other sampradayas as well, like for example Shankaracharyas. Srimad in the title refers to the person as Shriman, one who is the possessor of Shri. He is called a Shriman. Therefore, Bhagavan, Vishnu, he is called Shriman. One who is endowed with auspicious qualities is called a Shriman. One who is respectable is called a Shriman. We see this even today, right? Formally, when we communicate, we use words like Shriman and Shrimati when addressing people in formal Hindi. We also have this practice of using the word G at the end. So, if I am to, let us say, inform Swati ji that I am not well and I cannot take a lecture, look at the word that came from my mouth. It was automatically Swati ji, because G denotes respect. What is the origin of this G? The origin of the suffix G is also, some people call it suffix, some people call it a separate word, but ultimately its origin is Shri. Therefore, when you look at, let us say, B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, in B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, or if you see Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, you will see people addressing others with Shri, Bhrata Shri, Pita Shri, and so on. The word Shri has 6 primary meanings, all of which suit Lakshmi Devi. one who is endowed with the complete blessings of Lakshmi Devi, could also be therefore called Shriman. You might remember that one of the shlokas that I recited, in fact, the last shloka that I recited today, was starting with Shriman. Shriman Venkatanatharya Kavitarkika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyo me Sannidhattam Sadahrudi. Our school that brought Vishishtadvaita outside. Today there are many schools of Vishishtadvaita, but there is only one school that brought Vishishtadvaita outside, made it popular, composed a lot of works on it, focused a lot on that school of philosophy. That is the school of Sri Vaishnavas. And why do we call ourselves Sri Vaishnavas? Why don't we call ourselves as just Vaishnavas? Because Vaikunthe tu pare loke Shriyasardham Jagatpati. Aste Vishnu Rachnityatma Bhaktair Bhagavatais Saha. There is this shloka. It is not only because of this shloka, but the implication of the shloka, which says that Bhagavan is there along with Shri. Bhagavan is always there along with Shri. There is also another shloka in Vishnu Purana, as narrated by Parashara Maharshi. Parashara Maharshi says, at all points of time, Bhagavan is there along with his divine consort, Shri. Therefore, we address him as Shri Vishnu, Shriman Narayana. And therefore, we are Sri Vaishnavas. So for us, both Sri Devi and Bhagavan are important. No matter which subsect you go into, we will be that way only. Mata Devi Tvamasi Bhagavan Vasudeva Pitame Jatasoham Janani Yuvayor Ekalakshyam Dayayaha. Swami Deshika says in Sri Stuti, Hey Devi, you are my mother. What about Bhagavan Vasudeva? He is my father. Vasudeva Pitame. I am your child. Out of divine compassion, you have given me this life. And you have only one aim. What is your aim? What is your lakshya? That aim itself is to show compassion. Compassion itself is a very big topic. Let us not go there. We'll come back to the title, Srimad Jagat Guru. So we understand how we call people as Shriman, or how we say Srimate, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha, Srimate Nigamanta Mahadeshikaya Namaha. That is how we write. Whenever we write Shrihi, Shri Rastu, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. So it is inherent in the tradition to celebrate Sri Devi and therefore those who are associated with her grace. Next, we move on to Jagat Guru. Today, the most popular explanation, or fine, let us start with how the public understands the word Jagat Guru. The public understands Jagat Guru as meaning Guru of Jagat, the teacher of the entire world. That's all. Popularly, if you observe, in North India, there is this tradition that you go to Kashi and present your own interpretation of Prasthanatrayi. Prasthanatrayi means Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, and Upanishads. On all these three, if you compose a commentary and you present it, and you are differentiating yourself from the other commentaries that have already been there, and you do not get defeated. Traditionally, that was the way. Today, people don't even debate that way. Let us not get there. You get the title of Jagat Guru. There is also another way by which they give the title. That is, you don't have to write your own explanation. But if you follow the teachings of another Jagat Guru and you are a sitting Acharya, you will also have the title of Jagat Guru. So, my Venerable Acharya, for example, I started this class with his shloka, Shri Vatsavam Shakalashodadhi Kaustubhasya, Shri Veeraraghavacharya Gurostanayam Tatascha, Vidya Avapya Vibudhottamatam Dadhanam, Kurve Sadahriði Gurum Karunakarakhyam. I should be calling him as Srimad Jagadguru, Karunakararya Mahadeshika Swami. Or as per certain other norms that are used in North India, we would be calling it as Srimad Jagadguru Ramanujacharya, Karunakaracharya Ji Maharaj, something like that. We have such traditions. But these are traditions, remember. If you look at just the word Jagadguru, it appears to mean Guru of Jagat. So there is the story of Kanchi Shankaracharya, about which I might have narrated earlier. When he was rejected in Kashi, they refused to honor him. He asked why. They said, you call yourself Jagat Guru. We don't think you are the Guru of Jagat. We don't think you are our Guru. We don't even think you are a legitimate Shankaracharya. Why should we accept you? He gave them an explanation. He was a very young boy at that time. But he said, Jagat Guru does not mean Guru of Jagat. Jagat Guru does not mean Guru of the universe. Jagat Guru means he for whom the entire universe is Guru. When they heard it, they understood his scholarliness and also humility, and they fell at his feet and apologized to him. In this way, it is narrated. So for us, there are many meanings of the word Jagat Guru. But are we going to say that Bhagavad Ramanuja is to be called as Jagat Guru only because the entire earth is his Guru? There are some other people. They say the Jagat Guru title is reserved only by Shankaracharyas. We are going to look at that as well today. Jagat Guru is a common noun. We are not looking at it as the name of a person. When applied to the name of a person, it will become proper noun. But here, it's a common noun. Therefore, it's a title. It is a samastapada. It is a compound word. It has two components, Jagat and Guru. So how you merge these two words is what is going to give you the meaning. That is why Guru of Jagat is one meaning, and he for whom Jagat itself is Guru is another meaning. But can I become a Jagat Guru just because I call myself one? A few years back, Chinnajiyar Swami, who is popular in Andhra, he made a statement. He said, these days, anybody and everybody calls himself as Jagat Guru. We find a Jagat Guru in every street. Some people actually took offense to what he said. But later, his Shishya showed that there are people who are literally of Muslim faith who do not accept the Vedas and who are even teaching against the Vedas, who are keeping the title Jagat Guru. So how the word travels and gets used in practice is not something that we can control. But at least when used in the context of great people, it becomes our duty to understand how the title is applicable. So, can I become a Jagat Guru just by calling myself one? As per the law, I have the right to rename myself. Instead of Veeraraghava, if I name myself as Jagat Guru, law will permit me. But that will not make me the Guru of Jagat. That will not make Jagat the Guru of me. It will not imply anything. Okay. Can I become a Jagat Guru by being called Jagat Guru by others? If I make the whole of India call me Jagat Guru, will I become a Guru? No. I will not even become a Guru just because I'm called a Guru. Then how can I become Jagat Guru? Okay. What if I say, my ancestor was a Jagat Guru, therefore I carry it? We see this tradition in North India, right? We have surnames like Trivedi, Chaturvedi, Tripathi. What does it mean? Trivedi means master of three Vedas. Chaturvedi means master of four Vedas. Who is the master of four Vedas? If we ask Priyanka Chaturvedi ji, are you a master of the four Vedas? She would say, no, I am not. Then why do you have Chaturvedi? She will say, it is my surname. What is a surname? It is a part of the name that is carried over generations. So one of her ancestors, at least one of her ancestors, was a master of all the four Vedas. There may have been many more before him. But in memory of that one great master of the four Vedas, the family started getting addressed as Chaturvedi. But if you have Chaturvedi in your surname, would it make you a master of all the Vedas? No. If you are addressed as Chaturvedi, the whole world will call her as Chaturvedi because she has it in her name. Will that make her a master of all the four Vedas? No. So, you cannot get the title by descent or even just because some people call you that way. It is very easy. Even Nityananda calls himself as Jagat Guru. So, technically, if you want to treat it as a title, as a qualification, then you should understand that the person should compulsorily satisfy the meaning of the word Jagat Guru to deserve the title. So now we will see how Bhagavad Ramanuja was a Jagat Guru. Firstly, he was an incarnation of Adishesha, who we also call as Ananta Shesha. Who is Adishesha? He is a Nityasuri. We have already seen the concept of Nityasuris. Nityasuris, by nature, they are also called as Nitya Muktas, right? So, by definition, they have infinite knowledge. They already have infinite knowledge, they already have infinite bliss. It's a very special concept in Vishishtadvaita. In Dvaita philosophy, there also they have a similar concept, but I call it similar because they award that position only and only to Lakshmi Devi. Here, in Vishishtadvaita, Nityasuris by nature have infinite knowledge. And what was the goal of Adisesha descending to the earth? His goal was to remove ignorance from the world. His goal was to remove ignorance from the world. There was a lot of ignorance going on. People had forgotten about Bhagavan. People had forgotten about devotion. Deshika says in Rahasya Trayasara that the biggest sin that we have done, the biggest ignorance that we have, it is the refusal. The sin is the refusal to accept that we belong to Bhagavan and assuming that we belong to ourselves. We own ourselves. And the biggest ignorance is The same thing, the feeling that we own ourselves. We do not belong to Bhagavan. Bhagavan has nothing to do with us. We are independent of him. This is the greatest ignorance, according to him. So, the avatara lakshya of Bhagavad Ramanuja was to remove this ignorance. Think about the popular meaning of the word guru now. Guru means one who removes ignorance. Gu means andhakara, the darkness of ignorance. Ru means remover or removal. Guru means one who removes ignorance. And Bhagavad Ramanuja, his aim was to teach the entire world about it. So he was born to remove ignorance in the entire world, not just one person, not just one family, not just one village. One might argue that most of his activities revolved only around Tamil Nadu. It was very, very focused. Many modern people say that his activities were very, very focused in a very small community. That is wrong. While it is true that he spent most of his years in a very limited region, it is very wrong to say that his sphere of influence was also that small, because he also traveled the length and breadth of India. They praise Shankaracharya for traveling the length and breadth of India. Ramanujacharya also traveled the length and breadth of India. Therefore, in Odisha, you see Embar Matha. Look at Puri Jagannath, he will be having the same Urdhva Pundra that the Sri Vaishnavas use. Today, the temple is not run by Sri Vaishnavas, but still you can see it on the forehead of Jagannatha. We already know about how Bhagavad Ramanuja traveled to Kashmir. We know that even in Nepal, we can see Sri Vaishnavas. And influenced by Bhagavad Ramanuja, the bhakti movement started growing. You started getting Ramanandacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, most of whom came later, right? Vallabhacharya, all of them came later. And various poets who composed on bhakti, they also came after him. They were all influenced directly or indirectly by Bhagavad Ramanuja. Nobody is free from the influence. So, as his intention was to remove ignorance from the entire world by teaching the entire world, whether you accept or not is up to you. Bhagavan's goal is to give all of us moksha. But why have all of us not attained moksha? Because plenty of us did not accept his offer. He tells us, perform Sharanagati and I will grant you moksha. But we don't do it. We don't even learn about it. Can we blame Bhagavan for it? No. So his goal is to help all of us. Likewise, the goal of Bhagavad Ramanuja was to remove ignorance from the entire world. So, in this way, you could call him as a Jagat Guru. Secondly, why did he take the incarnation? Because Bhagavan himself told him to take the incarnation. Bhagavan is Adi Guru. We have seen before. Even the North Indian Shankaracharyas, they say Narayana Samarambham. Krishnam Mande Jagat Guru. The Advaitins celebrate that shloka. What is that shloka? Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanura Mardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Mande Jagat Guru. Krishna is called a Jagat Guru. So, Bhagavan himself is Jagat Guru. He has been called so by the scriptures themselves and by various acharyas after that. On top of that, He is also the Adi Guru. We saw that shloka some time back, some classes back, right? When Deshika celebrated the Guru Parampara, he started with Bhagavan. What did he say? Kamapyadyam Gurum Mande Kamala Grihamedhinam Pravakta Chandasam Makta Pancharatrasya Yasvayam. So he said Adyam Gurum Mande, Adi Guru. Who is Adi Guru? Adi Guru is Bhagavan, not anybody else. Adi Guru is Bhagavan. That Adi Guru, Adi Jagat Guru, Bhagavan, he himself instructed Bhagavad Ramanuja to go and remove ignorance from the earth. It shows the legitimacy of Bhagavad Ramanuja as a Jagat Guru himself. If Jagat Guru Bhagavan sends somebody to become the Guru of Jagat, that is the greatest qualification of becoming a Jagat Guru for that person. Thirdly, Swami Deshika talks about qualities necessary to become an Acharya. He talks about it in the context of people approaching Acharyas. How should the ideal Acharya be? Siddham Sat Sampradaye Sthiradiyamanagham Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham Satvastam Satyavacham Samayaniyataya Sadhu Vritya Sametam Nambasuyadimuktam Jita Vishayaganam Dirgabandum Dayalum Skalitye Shasitaram Swaparahitaparam Deshikam Bhoshnuripset. We have seen this before. 14 qualities. All those auspicious qualities, as mentioned at various different parts of the Vedic scriptures. All of these qualities were possessed by Bhagavad Ramanuja. He scored full marks in all. And therefore, being the perfect Guru, because he is ideal, he is Jagat Guru. There are more important things. Let us look at it this way. Before the time of Bhagavad Ramanuja, there was a lot of problem and confusion with regards to who is fit to study, who is fit to attain moksha. There was indeed some level of casteist discrimination, if we could call it so. Discrimination based on birth. This is well recorded and cannot be denied. So there were some people who said only men can study. Women should not study. They refused to accept women, female disciples. They further said only Brahmanas can study. Oh, what about Kshatriyas and Vaishyas? No, they can also study under a Brahmana. Okay, fine. Brahmana's primary duty is to teach. That is not a big deal. No, there is a big deal. Only the Brahmana can become a sannyasi. Okay, let the Brahmana become a sannyasi. Let the Kshatriya remain serving the kingdom. He has his own duty. The Vaishya needs to take care of the economy. He has his own duty. What is the big deal? They said, only sannyasi can attain moksha. What is this? Only sannyasi can attain moksha. Only Brahmana can become sannyasi. And that Brahmana should also be a male. So, a masculine Brahmana sannyasi, not sannyasini, sannyasi only. Only such a person can attain moksha. What about all the others? You keep taking rebirth until you are born into a Brahmana family and attain Brahmanatva and later take sannyasa diksha. And afterwards you travel, you will get the supreme moksha. Whatever the other people would be calling as moksha that is attained by them, it would not be real moksha. In this manner, certain people were misleading the public. But when Bhagavad Ramanuja came. He taught the supreme path towards moksha, the path towards the supreme bliss. He did not teach it to only Brahmana men. He did not teach it to only sannyasis. He himself took sannyasa, but he did not make it mandatory for people to take sannyasa. Bhagavad Ramanuja did not call sannyasa ashrama as mandatory. So he taught this path to all people, irrespective of gender. Men, no problem. Women, no problem. To people of all varnas. Varna cannot be a dividing factor. Bhagavan cannot hate you simply because you were born into some other community or simply because you are performing a specific job. Language is also not a problem. You don't know Sanskrit, you know only Tamil, that is okay. Feel free to speak in your vernacular language. Feel free to recite the glory of Bhagavan in your own language. There is nothing wrong. Because in the eyes of Bhagavan, all languages are equal. We may say Sanskrit is superior for specific reasons. Then some other people might say Tamil is superior for certain reasons. Some people might come and say Kannada is great for certain reasons. All of that is there. But in the eyes of Bhagavan, Bhasha does not have any Chaitanya. It does not have any Jiva. We are the Jivas. So, Bhasha is just a means of communication. Language is a means of communication. What is communicated matters more than the language in which it is communicated. So Bhagavan does not care. You pray to him in Swahili, he will accept. You pray to him in Russian, he will accept. You pray to him in Assamese, he will accept. You pray to him in Arabic, he will still accept. Bhagavan is not going to hate you simply because you pray to him in Arabic. But if by chance your mother tongue is not Arabic, your second language is also not Arabic, you are born into an Indian family and you know languages like Sanskrit, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, all such languages that are rich in, you know, uh, bhakti texts. And even after that, you intentionally go and pray to Bhagavan in Arabic, there Bhagavan may not accept because your intention would then be questioned. If the intention is impure, Bhagavan will not accept. But if you have a pure intention, then your language does not matter to Bhagavan. So Bhagavad Ramanuja also behaved that way. And therefore, unlike most acharyas who lived in the centuries before him, his teachings are applicable to the entirety of Jagat. You can't call yourself a Jagat Guru after teaching just one community, right? But if I say my teachings are for everyone, then yes, I am addressing the entirety of Jagat. Then maybe I could be called a Jagat Guru. In that manner, Bhagavad Ramanuja was a Jagat Guru. One more way to look at this is to understand how we understand the words Jagat and Guru. Based on the relationship between the two words, after fixing the meanings of the two words, we arrived at two different meanings, right? Guru of the universe, one for whom the universe itself is Guru. But there we had fixed the meanings of the word Guru and Jagat. Jagat, how do you understand it? It is a very important question. Some people, like for example, the Advaitin, they say Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Jagat is Mithya. What is this property of being Mithya? Mithyatvam Nama Pratiyamanatva Purvaka Yathavastita Vastu Jnana Nivartyatvam. That means Jagat is a perception which would get destroyed once the supreme reality of Nirguna Brahman is realized. So, Jagat, as per Advaita, is a destroyable illusion. Jagat, as per Advaita, is a destroyable illusion. Now, in Vishishtadvaita, Jagat is still temporary. It is subject to destruction, creation, preservation, destruction. But it is real. So the Jagat is real. Therefore, the Jagat Guru is real. Oh, what are you saying? Does Advaita reject the concept of Jagat Guru? They say Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Yes, Jagat Guru Shankaracharya is also an illusion as per Advaita. Because the minute you say Acharya, it means that person is superior in terms of knowledge, practices, and other things. That means it's a different entity. The term Jagat Guru Shankaracharya is applicable in Vyavahara, but not in Paramartha. In Paramartha, there is only one Brahman, and that Brahman is void of attributes. Being a Jagat Guru itself is an attribute. Being a Jagat Guru itself is an attribute that will become a guna. Therefore, Nirguna Brahman cannot have it. Saguna Brahman can have it. Nirguna Brahman cannot have it. Therefore, as per when seen from the supreme reality, everything, Nama, Rupa, space, time, everything is an illusion. And therefore, when you see Krishna coming in front of Arjuna, that is also an illusion. That also never really happened. This is a secret teaching of Advaita. Now, Vishishtadvaita is differing slightly. It says, Jagat is temporary, we accept that. But until it gets destroyed, when it exists, we will say it is real. So it is real and temporary. Real and temporary. It will get destroyed. After that, it will get created again. But it is real. So, Jagat is real. Therefore, Jagat Guru is real. Therefore, Bhagavad Ramanuja is a real Jagat Guru. Because he is a Guru for a real Jagat. We could experience him in this way as well. Of course, what about one more meaning of the word Jagat Guru? This meaning involves one who is teaching about a specific topic. Think about it. Ramanuja is a guru for Jagat. He is also the guru of Jagat. So, he teaches the Yatartha Swarupa, the way things are. And he teaches that about Jagat. He teaches about the futility of Jagat, about how one should eventually cross the river and leave Jagat for Jagannatha, that is Bhagavan. So, he is Natha, he is the Swami, we are the Sevakas. There is Jagat, there is Jagannatha, and there are the Sevakas. These are the Tattvatrayas, right? Chit, that is us Sevakas. Achit, that is Jagat, Kritsnam Jagat, the entire earth or universe as you call it. And then Ishvara, that is Paramatma. So, by teaching about Jagat as Bhagavan's Sharira, as a temporary existence that we are having. How do you realize it? Realize your true nature. Realize his true nature. When you realize his true nature, you will automatically realize your true nature. When you call him as your Swami, you would automatically understand that you are a level different from him. When you address him as Bhagavan, you automatically understand yourself to be at a position lower to him. Right? So, by teaching about Bhagavan, he also taught about Jagat. And he taught everything there is to learn. As per Vishishtadvaita, Jagat is a temporary reality. We spoke about it just now. Bhagavan himself is Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana. Upadana Karana means raw material for creation. Nimitta Karana means creator. So Bhagavan himself is the creator of Jagat. He is Sarva Shariri. We have seen all of that. He is Sarva Vyapi. He is everywhere. All of those teachings are taught by Bhagavad Ramanuja. Therefore, we praise him as Srimad Jagadguru Ramanujacharya. In Yatiraja Saptati, Swami Deshika celebrate Bhagavad Ramanuja. Of course, the first shloka that he celebrates him with is Pranamam Lakshmana Munihi Pratigrinnatu Mamakam Prasadayati Yat Suktihi Swadhina Patikam Shrutim. We saw shlokas before of the previous acharyas, correct? In the previous lecture, we saw Nathena Muninatena Bhaveyam Nathavanaham Yasya Naigamikam Tattvam Hastamalakatam Gatam. We saw that shloka. Now, we have to look at the remaining shlokas. So, in in 8 shlokas, Swami Deshika taught about the Guru Parampara until the time of Yamunacharya. In between Yamunacharya and Bhagavad Ramanuja, we saw, right? It was Mahapurna who brought him to Sri Rangam. Eventually, Bhagavad Ramanuja would get Samashrayana Diksha from this great Acharya, Mahapurna. We are not discussing about him right now because he will anyway come in the life of Bhagavad Ramanuja. And from there, once he appears in the life of Bhagavad Ramanuja, we will cover his story as well. So the 9th shloka of Yatiraja Saptati is a praise for him. Dayanignam Yatindrasya Deshikam Purnamashraye Yena Vishvasrajo Vishnora Manoratha. So Yatindrasya Deshikam, he is Mahapurna, was the Acharya of Yatindra, Bhagavad Ramanuja. He was overflowing with compassion. Mahapurna itself means one who is the great one, who is full of auspicious qualities. Purna means one who is full of auspicious qualities. We have seen that before. So he is celebrated by Deshika. In the 10th shloka, Deshika celebrates Bhagavad Ramanuja. From the 10th shloka onwards till the 70th shloka, he consistently praises Bhagavad Ramanuja. That is why it is called Yatiraja Saptati. Yatiraja is, of course, none other than Bhagavad Ramanuja. So the 10th shloka is Pranamam Lakshmana Munihi Pratigrihnatu Mamaka Prasadayati Yat Suktihi Swadhina Padikam Shrutim. So this shloka, what does it means? Pranamam, salutation. Okay. Who is Lakshmana Muni? None other than Bhagavad Ramanuja. Bhagavad Ramanuja is called Lakshmana Muni, Lakshmana Acharya, and so on. In Tamil, he is called Ilayalvan, referring, of course, to the younger brother of Shri Rama. We see the word Ramanuja appear in Ramayana in the context of Lakshmana. Ramanuja means brother of Rama. But incarnation of Adishesha. He had partial capabilities of Bhagavan, which is explained in Valmiki Ramayana itself, in the very first sarga. It is also explained a little later. Where is it mentioned in the first sarga? You might be wondering. It is mentioned in Govindaraja's commentary, where he says Bhagavan himself, out of supreme compassion, came as 4 people: Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. Of course, for that, in Balakanda itself, the shlokas would appear later. So, Bhagavad Ramanuja in this shloka, Swadhina Patikam Shrutim, Shruti, which is the Veda, Pati, it in one way means husband, in another way it means Lord. So let us treat the Veda as though it is a wife of Bhagavan. It is a divine consort of Bhagavan. In that case, they would make an ideal couple, because Veda will always be talking about Bhagavan. And whatever Bhagavan is, whatever you understand about Bhagavan, it would be based on Veda. So Bhagavan is eternal, Veda is eternal. You could make so many comparisons to understand that. So in Sanskrit dramatics, poets have the ability to compare various scenarios and imagine. In that way, Deshika has done here. Vedas speak in one voice about Sriman Narayana. Just like how the wife, the ideal wife, she would speak about her husband, not about any other man. So, as Bhagavad Ramanuja proved that this is how the Veda behaves. It is celebrated about him. So, we remember him and offer our salutations to him. We cannot say that our salutation to him justifies whatever we have received from him being reciprocated. We cannot reciprocate to such a great contribution with just a simple salutation. But that should not stop us from offering salutations. In that way, we pay our respects to him. We are not going to discuss all the shlokas of Yatiraja Saptati, but there are very, very specific ones that we should know. For now, we will look at one shloka, the 29th shloka of Yatiraja Saptati. In this 29th shloka, Swami Deshika says, Mani Bahumata Sara Mukti Nishrenikeyam Sahridaya Hridayanam Shashvati Dishta Siddhi Shamita Durita Gandha Samyamindrasya Suktihi Parichita Gahananah Prasnuvita Prasadam. Deshika says, look at the divine contributions, the works of Bhagavad Ramanuja, his compassionate works that we call as Sri Sukti. Bhagavad Ramanuja, who is the Lord of ascetics, the Lord of sannyasis. Samyamindrasya Suktihi. In that way, Swami Deshika says, his teachings contain the teachings of all the sages, the great sages, Bodhayana, starting from Vyasa himself, Vyasa, Bodhayana, Tanka, Dramida, all of them. So, if you look at a woman in a family, the Shastras say the ideal woman of the family, she should have 5 qualities. She should have a cooperating nature. She should not be fighting. She herself should be of excellent constitution. Her character should be great. Her behavior should be great. Her upbringing should have been great. If she has not been brought up properly, then even if she is behaving properly now, there would be no guarantee about the future. And then she should also have what they call as a faultless affability. These kinds of qualities are celebrated in a woman when if she enters a new house, that is, if she gets married. If we see about the works of Bhagavad Ramanuja, they are very much compatible. In fact, they are completely compatible to the teachings of the earlier sages. Sri Bhashya was literally created as an explanation of Bodhayana Vritti for Brahma Sutra. Correct? So Bhagavad Ramanuja, in his eyes, Sri Bhashya was not a work of scholarliness that he composed to defeat the other people. In his eyes, it was a seva to repeat and understand the teachings of the great sages. Therefore, Bhagavad Ramanuja at the start of Sri Bhashya said, Bhagavad Bodhayana Kritam Vistirnam Brahmasutra Vrittim Purvacharyaha Sanchikshipuhu Tanmatanusarena Sutraksharaani Vyakhyasyante. This was very important. So, what he is doing essentially is a seva. So, he is completely favorable to them. His works are beautiful, and they like how the wife helps to nurture the family. His works nurture the jivas by taking them towards Sri Vaikuntha. It is faultless, blameless. It serves like a ladder. And as you go deeper and deeper, you will see that it still has much more depth. The works of Bhagavad Ramanuja. So, Deshika says, may this set of compositions of Bhagavad Ramanuja grant us abundant blessing. To explain the shloka in short, it has the authentic teachings of all the sages, and it is like a ladder, a flight of steps towards eternal liberation, moksha, mukti nishrenikeyam. It is also the eternal fortune for the dharmic people, for the sattvic people. Sattvika satvignyayaha savai mokshartha chintakaha. How do they do the chintana? Through the teachings of acharyas like Bhagavad Ramanuja. It removes sins without a trace. Even the recitation of the works of Bhagavad Ramanuja, they remove sins completely. And they also reveal great depths of the Vedic teachings. If you study hard enough, you will understand that. In this manner, Swami Deshika praised the major contributions in the form of compositions of Bhagavad Ramanuja. In the next class, we will continue to look at how, remember, he had a divine birth. We said that Adishesha himself took birth as Bhagavad Ramanuja. We should remember that. This shloka of Deshika, what could have made Deshika say this? Are his works so great? Was Bhagavad Ramanuja so great? Why is it that he is called Samyamindra? Why is he called Yatiraja? We will have to look at all of that. We will see that in the next class. For now, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. I am sick, I have cold, but please ask questions related to the class. Sarva Shariri means one for whom everything is Sharira. I'll give you a simple example. One who has a Sharira is called a Shariri. The best example of Sharira is the physical body of humans. My physical body is my Sharira. What am I to the body? I am the Shariri. I am controlling my physical body. My body is not bearing me. I am the one who is actually bearing my body. If the jivatma leaves the body will start decaying. I am the one who is bearing the body. I am the one who is controlling the body. My body exists only to glorify me by allowing me to perform various things. It glorifies my very existence. For these three reasons, I call my body as my sharira. In the case of Bhagavan, he controls everything, he only bears everything, and everything exists only to glorify him. The existence of every single thing in the universe is, in a way, a glorification of Bhagavan. Therefore, everything is called as his sharira. And Bhagavan is therefore Sarva Shariri. Sarva means all. There is no technical definition of Jagat Guru given in any of the scriptures. These days they are saying if you write a bhashya for Prasthanatrayi, you will be a Jagat Guru. But in scripture, there is no such statement. You say Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Which bhashya did Krishna write on Bhagavad Gita? Krishna only revealed the Bhagavad Gita. He did not write any bhashya. Krishna did not reveal the Upanishads. Upanishads were already there before Krishna Avatara. Krishna did not write a bhashya on the Upanishads. But from the life of Krishna, we get Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary of the Brahma Sutras. How should we understand that Bhagavan is Upadana Karana? Upadana Karana means raw material for creation. Before he created, there was nothing. Therefore, everything came from him. Therefore, he is Upadana Karana.
I mean, nothing in means there was Moola Prakriti, no? Correct me if I am wrong.
So, his Sharira only, no?
Mhm.
He is there as Sukshma Chadachit Vishishta Brahman. He is there with his Sharira. So, Ramcharanji, if let us say you are making a clay pot, I will say Ramcharanji made the clay pot, but it would not be you. Will you argue I did not make the clay pot, only my physical body made it? You will not argue that way. When I say Ramcharan, the clay pot will not be implied. You may be having a clay pot on your hand, you may be holding a pot. But when I say Ramcharan, I am not referring to the pot, even though it is literally held on your hand. Your Atma is doing dharana of your body, and your body is doing dharana of the pot. Your Atma is doing dharana of both the body and the pot. But when I say Ramcharan, I don't refer to the pot. Okay. You refer to the Atma, right? No. I refer to the Atma that is in this specific body. Why? Ramcharan is a masculine word. Atma does not have gender. How can I say Ramcharan? Do you understand?
Yes, Swami.
When I call you, I am addressing you as a person along with your Sharira. When you say Veeraraghava is also a masculine word. So I am a male only in this life. Maybe in some life, I did not even have a life and I was shown, non-living. You cannot give a gender to a granite stone. You cannot give that. Maybe I was a female in my previous life. You don't know. I don't know. Atma does not have gender. But when we address them along with the Sharira by nature. It is natural for us to address the Atma along with the Sharira. You are saying Mula Prakriti was there, no? What is this Mula Prakriti? It is Brahma Sharira. He was there with his Sharira. Why do we call it that way? Because there was no, although there were infinite jivas also. Remember this, as per Vishishtadvaita, Paramatma did not create jivatma. Do you know that? We have covered it in previous classes.
Yes, Swami, you covered it.
So you asked Mula Prakriti is there. I will say Jivatman were also there, but Jivatman were behaving as though they are non-living. Mula Prakriti was also behaving like that. Nothing was doing anything. The only way by which the only property that was visible in the Jivatman or in Mula Prakriti was that of Bhagavat Shariratva. There was no Nama, there was no Rupa, there was no name, there was no form. There was nothing they did in specific. There was no way to distinguish between anything. But one property remained common. That property was Shariratva, that they were Bhagavan's Sharira. That remained true. So everything came from Bhagavan's Sharira. How did it come by itself? No. It came by his own will. He, by his own will, expanded his Sharira. That is what we call creation. Is it understood?
Yes.
So he is only doing it. Therefore, his own Sharira is only expanding. And he is being addressed along with his Sharira. Therefore, he is the Upadana Karana. He is the raw material source. Bhagavan divided himself into 4 parts. Was Rama not Bhagavan as a whole? Ah, excellent question. Infinity, no matter how much you divide, no, Janatji, it will still be infinity only. Rama was fully Bhagavan. You don't need to worry about that. So let us conclude our lecture here. Let us again pay our respects to Bhagavad Ramanuja and Swami Deshika for teaching us about him. कवितार्किक सिंहाय कल्याण गुणशालिने श्रीमते वेंकटेशाय वेदांत गुरवे नमः. तस्मै रामानुजार्याय नमः परमयोगिने यश्रुति स्मृति सूत्राणाम अंतर्ज्वरम अशीशमत. From the Shrutis, from the Smritis, and from the Brahma Sutras, the fever of misinterpretation was removed and the scriptures were cured by Bhagavad Ramanuja. Therefore, we praise him that way. Tasmai Ramanujaryaya Namah Paramayogine. That Paramayogi, Bhagavad Ramanuja, who cured all the scriptures from the jvara, fever of misinterpretation. So let us conclude here. Thank you so much for attending.